What is going on, everybody? It is Monday night, so that means it is time for the I-71 Playbook Podcast. I'm BB, and with me, as always, is the incomparable BC. How are we tonight, sir?
BB, I got a fever, and the only cure is more Flacco.
Oh my God. What?
Did I just do the worst impression in the history of the internet?
And it's on the internet, so the internet is forever. And not only can I and the wonderful woman who lives in your house, we can make fun of you now for the rest of your life for this. It's on the internet.
Hold on. I am the first person in history who did a bad walk-in impression.
No, you're not. You're not, but I love that for you.
Joe Flacco is fucking Cleveland. Holy crap. We got a lot to talk about tonight.
Excuse me. Hold on. We do have a lot to talk about tonight. Who was calling for it, though?
From day one. You said bring X Flacco. Hey, here's the thing I realized with that signing. Kudos to you. Tip of the cap to you. Now, the one thing that I have realized, we are right a heck of a lot more times than we're wrong on this podcast. Like, we are really, there's not bad takes here.
I'm trying to tell you, this is not just a mildly cute face and sass here. There's some stuff going on.
We get a lot right when it comes to it's like we know our sports here at the I-71 podcast. Okay, so anyway. What's on the table for tonight? We got Joe Flacco. What else tonight, BB?
Well, the Cleveland team that plays with the orange and black basketball locked up their number one seed. They are in the postseason. They're ready to go. However, you just gave me all sorts of props and kudos for being right more times than not on this podcast. I was wrong. Earlier this year, you asked me if I thought the team. I caught myself. I didn't do it.
You didn't say
the team that plays with the orange and black round ball, if they would lose more games collectively than the Browns, and I said no. And they did end up, having, I believe they ended up 17 or 18 losses. After 2 overtimes yesterday with Indiana. 16. Okay.
No,
so
sorry.
I was
82, 64. Yeah, 18 losses.
See?
They ended up, no, that's not right either.
So I was wrong. What's that?
No, there's 64 and 18. That's correct. So math is hard.
You were not a math teacher. We're just gonna put that out right there right now. And I also was not a fan of math either. So there's that.
Math sucks. I'm sorry to all my math brethren out there, all my nerds.
Right. I'm sorry, but we love you. But so we want to wish them all the best with the number one seed in the East. They will be duking it out, seeing if they can bring some hardware to Cleveland, which would be lovely.
Can we just flash forward to the Boston series? Seriously, do we have to go through all this other stuff? Let's just play Boston and then pick on whoever comes out of the West.
That is what ESPN wants. They want the head-to-head, and they want Boston to succeed because, God forbid, a smaller market team makes noise.
And by the way, another thing I realized, Boston's not itself a big market. The city of Boston is not huge. It's a big city. No. It's not huge. It's not like Houston or Chicago or LA or New York or even Columbus, Ohio, for that matter. It's a big city, but it's not that big. But their reach, because they're the only stinking game in town in New England,
right,
and right by the headquarters of the 4-letter F or the 4-letter E word, I should have said. Yeah, so the network definitely wants them in there. I hope the Cleveland basketball team. I caught myself. I hope the Cleveland basketball team goes and takes them to the woodshed and goes to the finals. So, do you get like Sweet Georgia? Like, do you ever like just like when you go and you think about basketball? Do you just ever hear Sweet Georgia Brown in your head?
I don't, but I actually haven't heard Sweet Georgia Brown since I was like in pep band back in high school 1.5 million years ago. So that was.
Did you ever see the Harlem Globetrotters? You ever see them live? Oh man, that was a good show. Back in the day, the Harlem Globetrotters were just fantastic, entertaining show, and of course, the theme song for that was Sweet Georgia Brown. So anyway,
right, I do know that. Moving on.
That was for the kids. That was for the kids out there in Podland watching the YouTube.
So your shirt there is our next topic. Good. So improving the fact that we had to get the hell off that West Coast and back into the AL Central, Guardians opened up a homestand and kind of opened up a can of whoop ass. Opening day saw the kid from Pickerington, you know him, I love him, Captain Jack Sawyer, threw out the first pitch for opening day. And what's really cool, though, is not necessarily that he was throwing it out, which that's amazing. It's who was actually catching for him. And who was catching for him was actually Steve Colavito, Rocky's youngest son. So opening day, you kind of have a little bit of, little Ohio history on the mound and behind the plate. So that's kind of neat.
That's really cool. Really cool.
They went on a tear, too. I mean, we swept Chicago, but again, that's Chicago. So that's, if you don't lose to the White Sox, you kind of have to ask yourself why.
I'm pretty sure the Rubber Ducks would have swept the White Sox, but anyway, they're not very good.
Rubber Ducks.
That's not a franchise that is healthy right now in Chicago.
Oh, no, they really aren't.
But you know what? Someone's got to be in the basement. A rough place to be. Yes, and
someone's got to be in the basement.
The cure for a losing streak is to go back to the Central Division. And you know what? Hey, you're going to pick up wins there. We did say last week when the Gardos started. What did they start 3-6, and they got swept. They got swept by San Diego. We said, be patient. They're going to come back home. They're going to play in the division in which they've dominated for 10 years. They're going to be fine, and they're fine. They're fine. They're working out the kinks. They're going to be okay. They're going to be okay.
I like it.
By the way, one other thing, you mentioned Jack Sawyer. His BFF is a guy named Will Howard, who we've been big on here for the draft. I don't know if you saw it, but on Barstool's YouTube channel, he did a Gruden film room. Did you get a chance to see that?
I didn't, because those are two words that I completely ignore everything from because
I get that.
Reasons.
But you watch that and you don't fall in love with that kid, there's something wrong with you.
I'm sorry, if you don't watch the 1980s Cinemax Dr. Pepper commercial that the kid put out there, and if you don't feel anything for that kid, you got ice water running through your veins.
I'm going to tell you right now, Gruden said it, like, he's like, hold on. Like, Gruden's sitting there, he's like, you won a national title. You're 6'4", you're the same size as Josh Allen. You have the second highest completion percentage in college football last year. You're obviously a leader of men. He's like, why aren't you the first overall pick? He's like, I'm being dead serious. He's like, why aren't you? And we've been saying that the whole time. Like, once again, Gruden was enamored with them. It was really cool to watch them go back and just watch football.
Oh, man crush. I love it.
No, I am not a fan of John Gruden's, but the guy does know football, and he knows offensive football, and he knows the quarterback position. And I was
referring to him having a man crush.
Oh, he definitely had a man crush on Will Howard. Like, he was gushing.
How can you not, though? I mean, how can you not?
Man, I'll tell you what. Like,
he's a good kid.
You know me. There's been a couple of things I've steadfastly believed since the end of the season as we start ramping up draft talk. I still believe there's going to be 4 quarterbacks taken in the first round, if not 5. I still wholeheartedly believe that. We'll get to that talking, but man, whoever Will Howard plays for, just don't doubt the kid. We keep saying that. Just don't doubt him. He is.
No.
You know, I saw one of the draft gurus. I can't remember who it was. I've seen so much film stuff in the past couple months. He's like, oh yeah, he's gonna project as a solid backup and have a solid NFL career. I'm like, no, that kid's gonna play and ball out. Like I'm sure of it. He's gonna ball out.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
That type of kid. But anyway, Gardos over 500. Pushing for the lead in the AL Central, and you know, it's gonna be a fun summer. We're in for a good summer.
It is. We are. I'm excited for it. I am also excited, and I know it's not a Guardians game, but I actually got to go to my first Tigers game last season, and I picked a game to go to. So they have a group of their fans that get together, and they do a Magnum PI game, and it's like one of their last home games in August.
That's
and
awesome.
They all come out with like the red Hawaiian shirt. Some of them are wearing the 1980s, like the shorty shorts. And you know, the aviators, mustaches galore. And then obviously the classic, you know, old English.
You gotta go the full Tom Selleck. 80s Tom Selleck.
Absolutely.
That was a handsome man.
He was. I mean, that was my crush when I was a kid. I was like, ooh, hello. And he's aging well. He's aging like fine wine.
He actually is. He's still a good looking dude. Is. Yeah.
Here for it. So we went last year and it was an absolute blast. So that is a game that I'm looking forward to later this August. So I'll have to get my aviators, little mustache going on.
All I'm saying is, you know, if I had the invite, I might make the trip.
Let's go.
I might be in for that. That sounds like a lot of fun. That sounds like too much fun.
The only thing is you're going to have to wear a Hawaiian shirt.
I have a Hawaiian shirt.
You're going to have to get a mustache.
I can grow this in like 3 days.
I mean, I'm just saying.
All I have to do is go.
Aviators and short shorts.
Look, it's getting thicker as we.
You're gonna either pop a blood vessel or need new shorts.
I swear to God, it's just getting thicker because of that.
Either of which not pod friendly. No. So you mentioned at the top of the pod with that awesomely awful Christopher Walken impersonation. That was a choice. It was a choice. But Joe Flacco, the man, the myth, the legend, has returned for 1 year, $4 million deal. And again, when I think how this happened that day is the ESPN alert popped on my phone. My cousin immediately screenshots it and then sends it to me. And then I think I sent it to you, or you were in the process of texting me, and it was all just like boom, boom, boom.
I started laughing because I opened up to text you, and I saw that you were actively sending me it, and we knew immediately what was going on. Yes,
what it was. So Cleveland definitely will have a fever this football season. So that pretty much solidifies we are taking a QB at 2, because obviously you want to have him around as a mentor.
So, okay, we talked about this. We were like, okay, that just points more to Shedeur. Somehow, I don't understand it. The narrative is now shifted. This means they're taking Travis Hunter. Like the entire media landscape, Cleveland media, national media. Oh, this means Joe Flacco's 40. He hasn't played a full season since 2017.
Hey. There's nothing wrong with being 40. Hold on.
No, hold on.
Time out.
He is 7 years younger than me. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is he has not played a full season, okay, for 8 years.
Neither has Denzel Ward.
Oh, hold on. Fair. No, my point being is you did not get him so you didn't have to draft the quarterback. That's how everybody's acting. Everybody's like, oh, we got Flacco now. We're not worried about quarterback at 2. No, this is actually more the reason why you get a quarterback at 2.
Right. So I've got a couple of scenarios here that I think could work.
Okay.
So, I mean, but I think what's going on with Shedeur is he's got a little bit of the draftitis. And it's nothing that he's really doing, but unfortunately, sometimes what it is because the media is so saturated with him, and they've been saturated with him since the end of Colorado season. I mean, they ended off the bowl game.
I will say they've been saturated with him since he came to Colorado 2 years ago. Like,
true. That is true.
There's been no more scrutinized and covered college football player in the last 2 years than Shedeur Sanders. So, and
program, really. I mean, that's the way, and that's the way Deion wanted it. Because when he left Jackson State, it was he literally told the existing Colorado team, if you don't want to put in the work, hit the portal because we're coming to work. And, and because Deion is how Deion is, and this is how Deion has been since he played, he's got the mouth, but unfortunately he also has the stuff to back it up. So if you can back it up, that's when this can run. So I think, unfortunately, the media is just like, they're tired of talking about him. They're like, we don't want to talk about Shedeur anymore. But again, Shedeur is he's taking a page out of his dad's book. Doubt me. Go ahead. I'll just back it up on the field. The fact that he says that he wants to go to Cleveland, he wants all the smoke. I want to be the one to take that on. That he knows what he's getting into. He knows that's going to be a mess coming into. And of course, you're right. When we get Flacco back, no, it's not going to be the end all be all. Will he start? Possibly. Is he going to stay the starter the entire time? Probably not. I mean, you also had our favorite Kenny Pickett in the press earlier this week that was like, well, I plan on starting for Cleveland. I'm not going there just to hang out. Baby, I wish you weren't coming here at all. To hang out or otherwise. Just get in there, sit down, and shut up. But here's the kicker, though. And we said this last week. Go ahead.
Hold on. I want that smoke. I want that fire from Kenny Pickett. I do. Seriously, I want that guy in the QB room saying, I'm winning this job. Is he going to win that job? No. There's no chance in the world he's going to be a starting quarterback opening day. Especially, Joe Flacco is going to be penciled in as your starter next year. But I love that fire. Like, seriously, I want him to be hungry. Like, he's on the team. Cleveland, there's nothing we can do about it. Kenny Pickett's on your roster. Okay,
he is on our roster.
Hate him. Okay, he doesn't play for Pittsburgh anymore. He is a Cleveland Brown, and you want that guy to bring everything he can. Okay, he's going to be better than DTR. He's going to be better. Okay, once again, than DTR. He's going to be better than Deshaun Watson. Okay, and he's going to throw less picks than Jameis Winston. He is better than anything you had last year.
But is he going to be as entertaining as Jameis?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But the Browns quarterback room, if you remember last year, okay, when we started this pod toward the end of the season, and we were just like, if only they had mediocre quarterback play. They're a playoff contender.
They did. Unfortunately, I mean, our mediocre quarterback was Jameis.
But he was mediocre. He threw more pick sixes than he did touchdowns the last 2 games. So
listen, he was completing throws. They just weren't to the right team.
The point being is we're going to have mediocre quarterback play this year. We're going to have mid quarterback play, and that might be enough. That might be enough to get them to at least push for the playoffs. And like you said, this is not like, oh, we got Joe Flacco, we don't have to worry about quarterback. No, I think quarterback is still a play. And the one person who was on this boat with me, okay, the one person in the media that was on this boat with me was Mary Kay Cabot, and she just jumped off. I'm alone. I am the captain of this boat. Shedeur at 2. I'm still calling it. I'm not jumping off. Once again, he's the pick. He's going. People are like, oh, he went to New York. The Browns have said nothing. The one thing that the Browns are good at is you have no idea what they're going to do in the draft. You never have an idea.
Yeah.
Never. We didn't know the Browns were going to take Baker. Okay, we didn't know the Browns were going to take Miles. You thought Miles was going to be the pick. Nobody said, hey, the Browns are taking Jedrick Wills. Nobody said Browns are taking Greg Newsome. Like, those were not names that were being bantered about. Nobody knows what they're doing.
Right.
But once again, the consistent line this entire time is QB at 2. And there's only one QB at 2 you can take.
Right.
That's Shedeur. And when Shedeur is picked next Thursday night, I'm taking a victory lap. BB, come back. Okay, well, there's BB. She's back.
Oh, no. My internet went nuts.
Okay, that's all right. We can edit that out.
Yep, we'll edit that out.
They'll never know. So
we may just leave it in and say, F it. Technical difficulties, it'll be fine.
Here's the thing. And once again, we know I am not coming from a place that I want Shedeur Sanders. Like, that has not been the guy I wanted. And I'm good if Travis Hunter. My whole thing is why are we now ignoring Shedeur Sanders? Why are we now saying he's got to be the pick? It's got to be a quarterback at 2. It's always been a quarterback at 2. We went through our Abdul Carter phase. We went through our Travis Hunter phase, but come next Thursday night, and everybody, like, there's nobody who thinks I'm right on this. But I'm telling you right now, I'm throwing my own 0-16 parade. I'm going to be going through the mean streets of downtown Worcester, throwing popcorn and candy at kids, because I'm having a parade when Shedeur is the pick, because I was right, and I'm sticking to it.
Maybe you want to throw them to them, not at them. That might be a problem. No line drives, so no throwing blow pops at little kids' heads.
No, that could be fun though. That could be a lot of fun.
I mean, that could be fun, but that also could be used at 11.
Who can yell at me like I'm giving kids candy? Like, seriously, like, you can't yell at me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's terrible. That's bad. You, my friend, that's bad.
You said who would yell at you for giving kids candy? Chris Hansen. Have a seat.
I really did put that on a tee.
You can have some of my sweet tea.
I really put that on a tee, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. You do. And what's funny is I actually have 2 heat presses in my basement, and my bonus kid has a Cricut. So you may be getting a Christmas present. Just remember, you love me.
How long have we been doing this? Not just the pod, but how long we've been doing this? Oh, we're still
back
here,
and forth.
Yeah,
back and forth.
It's been a hot
minute. Multiple years.
I think we're over a decade now.
I think we are, actually.
Yeah, I think so.
Although I could play the score and co-host and say, you don't remember our anniversary? What?
I've been there, done that.
Ooh, busted. So to not to take away from your, look at me, I am the captain now moment. I do still see them taking Shedeur at 2. I mean, the original plan, Shedeur at 2, and then either a wide receiver or running back at 33. I would love to be it to be one of the guys out of Ohio State if they are still on the board. But we definitely need running back and wide receiver help. There is another scenario that I've heard whispers of, and I don't overly hate it. And that is taking Hunter at 2, and then using that 33rd pick to trade back into the first round and going after your QB then. So whether it be, I've heard whispers of Jackson Dart, I've heard, and again, I would love if it is Will Howard, I would love, whoever is still available at 33, or whenever we would trade back into. The Browns actually do have the draft capital to play with to make something happen. They do.
They got five picks in the first 104.
Right.
They got the most picks early on.
So, I mean, we definitely do have some wiggle room to play around with. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Ideally, make it a package deal and bring Shedeur and Travis to Cleveland. They played in college twice. I mean, let's not break up the bestie train.
So my dream scenario, and now once again, my advocacy for Shedeur is because I believe that's what's going to happen.
Right.
I believe they're taking Shedeur too. I'm not coming off that. There's nothing that has changed my mind from that. And once again, Joe Flacco to me actually reinforced that. But
right,
my dream scenario. Okay, you with me on this?
All right, hold on. Let me. I'm clocked in. Let's go.
We're not getting. Hold on.
Oh, there it goes.
Okay, if we're not getting Cam Ward, I've resigned myself that Cam's not coming to Cleveland. Okay, he's going to Tennessee.
Bye.
Give me Travis Hunter at 2.
Okay.
Wherever you have to go, give me Jalen Milroe at the end of the first round.
Okay.
Then at, was it 64? I think it's the third round pick. At 64.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. No, 67 because there's compensatory picks. So 67 now.
Okay.
Give me one of the running backs. I don't think Travion. I think Travion's gone early. I really do.
I do too. There's no way he goes to the third round. There's absolutely no way in hell.
But Quinshawn, give me him if he's still there. Just give me one of those running backs. Give me. I want Cam Scatterbo. Give me Cam Scatterbo. But rebuild this offense, and then
yes,
okay, and then how's this for symmetry? Who started when Lamar got drafted for the Baltimore Ravens?
Who did start?
Joe Flacco.
Oh, okay.
So, there's a little symmetry there, and, you make some packages for Jalen Milroe. He's got the strongest arm in the draft. He runs a 4.3. Travis Hunter
and the tiniest hands.
Well, they're not Kenny Pickett size, though. They're bigger than Kenny. And fortunately for Jalen, they grew 0.3 of an inch from the combine to the pro day. So that was really good.
So he's a grower, not a shower. Got it. Okay.
Good night, y'all.
Some of these jokes are just for me.
Teeing them up for you. Once again, teeing them up for you.
You do.
I am. I'm putting the ball in the tee, and you're just hitting them out of the park tonight. So anyway, that I want speed. I want athleticism. I want playmaking. That's what I want.
Right.
I don't care if they ignore the defense completely. Just give me offensive players. Just start this kind of little mini rebuild with that. I think they have the pieces in place to push for a playoff next year. I really do.
Yeah.
I have no reason not to believe that Joe Flacco and Kevin Stefanski's offense is not just a match made in heaven. But
we saw it before.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly believe. I mean, there's a reason. Flacco had other offers. We know he had other offers he turned down. He wanted to go to Cleveland. There's a reason because he knows he's going to play his best football there.
And he did play his best football here, truthfully.
I mean, really, that was the second best stretch. He's been a quarterback for 18 years in the NFL. Is that crazy? This is year 18. He's had 2 stretches where he was by far the best quarterback on the planet. One was the playoffs when he won the Super Bowl. Like he was just on
legal now.
and then that 6-game stretch with the Browns, minus the playoff game. And actually they point to 5 games that he was 5-1, but that last game was against Cincinnati. He sat everybody.
Yeah.
Before they played Houston, and so once again the guy can win you some games. Kenny Pickett's better than anything you had on the roster last year. You're going to get a rookie quarterback at 2. Like they're going to be fine. They remade the quarterback room, and the Browns are going to be fine. The Browns are going to be fine.
I think they will. I think it'll be Interesting to watch. Definitely. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It's Browns football, so there's definitely gonna be some expletives that are gonna be said, and foam dog bones that are thrown at the television from my childhood.
So, question for you: what are you doing for the draft?
We have a little tradition.
Okay.
So my bonus kiddo is coming to the house. So him and his sister and my person and I are going to watch draft day. And my person makes Dutch pancakes, so we all can be pancake eating. You know the rest.
Gotcha.
Beep. And then we watch the first round of the draft together as a little family unit. And I will probably be texting you and taking notes for show prep.
So I will have, I think, at the current count, 15 people in this very basement.
Ooh.
As you know, I've hosted a draft party. Oh man, we're almost on 20 years.
See, I've always heard about it, but you want to talk about like not getting the invite, you know?
You always have the invite. You don't have to wait. You got standing invite to Casa de Erlenspiel. You always have the invite here. So anyway, we're gonna have a bunch of people here. We're gonna have a contest. Okay, so everybody's gonna do their mock draft. Maybe a little legal betting going on here about who gets picked where. By the way, I'm going to win this because I'm going to be the only person that puts Shedeur Sanders with the Cleveland Browns at number 2. I'm going to be the only person that does it. And when it happens, I'm going to gladly take everybody's money legally
and split it with your co-host.
I guess this podcasting software ain't free, right? So we have a good time, and I'm looking forward to it. And it is real fun because the last 3 years the Browns did not have a first round pick, and the year before that was the COVID year, and we actually still live streamed the draft party on video. 4 of us were on there, watched at least the first 3 picks together on Zoom. So
I like it.
So it is a tradition. It is a tradition unlike any other. And Rory will not be at our party.
And what's that?
And Rory will not be at our party.
Oh.
I'd love Rory to show up. I'm just saying, we're not that big. I'm just a YouTube celebrity with like 50 subscribers. Like, it's not really a big deal.
If I ever get stopped in traffic, do you realize like I'm kind of a mediocre deal on YouTube? Like, are you aware of this? No? Okay, fine. How much is my ticket now?
How do you not recognize me, officer?
Right?
Oh man!
Oh my goodness!
So no. The draft's shaping up. We're 10 days away. 10 days away from the draft.
We are.
I feel like this is. I think there's 2 things that are the same here. It's flown by. Yeah, it's felt like we've been talking about this for 4 years.
Right. And if anything, and if the last 3.5 months have not felt like 8 years, it also goes without talking about the draft forever. So time doesn't matter anymore. It's all made up.
So BB, okay, we've talked about my draft crushes. Okay, minus Will Howard. Who is the guy that the Browns have to take for you?
Ooh, that's hard because it is Will Howard. I'd love to see him in Cleveland because, again, great kid on and off the field. Obviously, we're gonna stick with the home team here. I would love to see Jack Sawyer. Truthfully, I mean, I think him and Miles could be an absolute problem. I know that is completely out of our reach, but I would love to, again, talk about another great kid on and off the field. And plus, he's an Ohio boy, so keep him close to home. How's your mom and them?
So that's another one that's got me perplexed. It's very much like Shedeur and Will Howard. Okay, why am I seeing Jack Sawyer going in the third round of mock drafts?
Because this season is the first season that he really, like, he made some noise his previous years, but it wasn't until his senior year that he really kind of blossomed and got onto the radar. And it wasn't until the Texas game, truthfully, that he really caught the spotlight. I mean, because that's what sealed the deal for the Texas game was the scoop and score.
What pains me about his game, okay, is my pro comp for him. My pro comp is TJ Watt. I have never seen, and I'll tell you why. And it's the same thing I say about Jack Sawyer. I have never seen TJ Watt dominate a game. Just be unblocked. I've never seen that. But I have seen that guy just in moments make big play after big play. Mm-hmm. And that's Jack Sawyer. Jack Sawyer was never very dominant in games. But when you needed a big play, it seemed like the last 2 years, he's been that guy. Yeah, he's your guy who just steps up. And so to me, there's a lot of TJ Watt in his game. And, I was kind of looking back in past drafts, and I was actually looking because of that. I was looking at TJ Watt's, what they said about him, because he was a late round, first round pick. And it's almost it's almost verbatim what they're saying about Jack Sawyer. And I just, if he falls a little and you're able to get him in the third round, what a gem. What a gem of a steal. Yeah, I mean,
that's gonna be a steal. And I think part of the problem is both with TJ Watt and with Jack is they're too busy getting teamed up on. I think so. You can't make any big plays and dominate all the time, is because you've got one or two guys in your face and up your nose. So, and it's very possible. So I'd love to see him wearing, orange and brown, but whoever gets him, it's going to be a steal, an absolute steal.
Well, once again, you have a shot.
I also wouldn't be sad if he goes to Detroit. I wouldn't be sad either,
Well, once again, you have a shot at yours. None of my draft crushes are going to end up in Cleveland. I know that. Cam Ward's gone. Yeah. Tyler Warren's gonna be gone before the Browns' second pick.
That is true. Yeah, he's another one.
Cam Scatterbu just does not fit the raw athletic score that the Browns are looking for. So it's not gonna be Cam Scatterbu. Yeah, it just. Although I do I think Travis Hunter's a ball player. If the Browns get him, and like I said, come back with him, Milroe, and a good starting caliber running back, I think the Browns will be ready to roll. They're going to score. They're going to be a lot more exciting next year. They're already going to be more exciting next year.
Absolutely.
We've talked about it numerous times, but we can't go on and on about the historic nature of how bad that offense was last year.
Yeah, it really was.
They scored less touchdowns than the 99 expansion team and the 0-17 or 0-16 was that in 2016? Yeah.
16.
Yeah, so the 0-16 team in 16.
That was the summer of winning for Cleveland. Yeah. It was 2016, and it all ended up with the rain delay heard around the world that took the then Cleveland Indians out of the World Series. And then the Browns were just like, hold my beer, and literally just went on to go 0-16.
Yeah. So once again, I don't know if the Browns will end up with any of my draft crushes, but you give me some athletes, give me some speed.
Yes.
Be exciting. I love Jalen Milroe as a prospect. I really do. And that kid's so smart too. He won the academic Heisman this year. A lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah.
He graduated Alabama with his master's degree in 3 years, which is insane.
Impressive,
even at a less than stellar academic institution like Alabama, still impressive.
Well, yeah.
Still impressive. But regardless, Jalen Milroe and Travis Hunter are guys you want to build a program around. I mean, those are culture builders. Those are guys you like. And but I also say the same for Shedeur. So we'll see what happens. But I'm excited. I'm excited for next week. I really am. I'm pretty pumped.
So it is also that time we can start talking about a little bit of little Buckeye football. They had their spring game on Saturday.
Hold on, did I just get copyrighted? Okay, sorry, YouTube.
Oh yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah,
we do not own the rights to that music. We just enjoy the hell out of it.
So
the Ohio State spring game. Also, some big things real quick before we are jumping into Ohio State. The city of Columbus. Kind of, I'm a hockey girl, so I gotta sneak my hockey in there just a little bit. So the bobblehead of your very first Monsters game. Now, was that your first Monsters game, or was that your first hockey game, like, period?
Oh no! So I grew up going to the Igloo. I used to get tickets all the time to go watch the Pens play when I was a kid. So that's my first Monsters game, though.
Okay.
By the way, you like hockey. I like props.
I love the fact that we now have props. So as you see, Jet Greaves, number 73 in your playbook, number 1 in your heart. Jet Greaves took the trip down I-71 this week when he got called up to the NHL, where he played 4 games in 5 days. So he had won with the Monsters against Grand Rapids in Cleveland, got in his vehicle, and hoofed it on down the line to 73, or to sound 71, not 73. That's his number. Again, see, numbers are hard. Math
is hard. It sucks.
Math is so hard. But so he, jumped into Columbus. He got called up for them, and put on an absolute clinic. Saturday got I believe his first NHL shutout when the Blue Jackets defeated the number 1 seeded Washington Capitals 7-0. And then last night put on an absolute clinic. And I kind of want to say this really quick. I won't go too much into it. So last night's game, obviously Saturday they had a whole bunch of people resting. Ovechkin wasn't playing. They actually had an AHL goalie in there, in net for them. Clearly, since we, knocked 7 on them. Love that for them. Anyway, so last night, obviously, they're in their home barn. They're a little pissed. They want revenge. It was kind of a chippy game. A lot of fighting, a lot of spicy. So last night, they traveled to Washington. And obviously, Greaves is in net again for them. Ovechkin is back on the ice. The all-time now leading goal scorer. He beat Wayne Gretzky's record. He's now the official great one. So there's that. So Ovechkin's first shift on the ice, literally his first shot on goal, and he buries it. He absolutely burns Jet. There was nothing he could do. And any other goalie could potentially get rattled. I mean, that's such... You let one in, you're in a big game, they're fighting for a playoff spot. So then...
And then you have the greatest of all time blow one right by you. Yeah.
Right. I mean, and there was nothing that he could do about it. I mean, and that happens, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Ovi, and sometimes you just get goals that are just absolutely filthy, and the goalie can do nothing about it. So that was one of them for him. And then he faced Ovechkin about 5 or 6 more times and shut him down. The Jackets won last night, and they play again tomorrow night. So they basically need to win out the rest of the season if they want a shot at the playoffs. We also need Montreal to lose. So when I came in to record tonight, they were actually winning, which is not good. We need them to lose, please and thank you. So fingers crossed for that. But, props to Jet for being the NHL's first star of the week. That is huge. And I am calling it right here and now. You will not see him in Cleveland next year, unfortunately. He is going to be in Columbus. And he's earned it, truthfully. He's come a long way since he's joined the program. He's great. Again, great kid on and off the ice. Yep. And just turned 24. He looks like a baby. When you see him out of pads and out of gear, he looks like a baby. But he just turned 24. Actually, the game you went to was his birthday weekend. So
they celebrated it with a bobblehead.
With a bobblehead. So he is also falling to something that is called the bobblehead curse in Cleveland, because he will not be playing in Cleveland next year.
But for good reason. For good, that's a good reason.
He won't be far.
We want Jeff to be in Columbus.
Absolutely. So back to Ohio State.
Go Bucks.
Had their spring game on Saturday. Go Bucks indeed. So our offense outshined our defense. Took the game 51-31 in the spring game. There were actually 40,000 people that were in attendance, probably because they were presenting the championship rings. So that's pretty cool. Have you seen these things?
I got the old Bleacher Report update the other day. Yes, it's a little blingy.
Those are monstrous.
Just a little blingy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, Lord.
It's great.
And they've got 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
They got one from the College Football Committee for making the playoffs.
Yep.
They've got one for winning the national championship from the college, the commission, the College Football Commission, and then one from the school for winning the national championship. So that's pretty awesome. Again, those things are monstrous.
They really are.
And I've been seeing on TikTok some of the players who are also sharing some of the other swag and stuff like that they've got. They went to Washington today to visit the people who live there. So I don't agree with it, but I love that for them.
That's choice.
Still a huge honor. That is again, choices.
Choice. Yep.
So speaking of choices, the future of our quarterback program in Columbus got a chance to shine. So we had our redshirt freshman, Julian Sayin, went 17 for 24, did 175 passing yards and 1 touchdown. So not terrible, not awful.
Good day's work.
We've got what's that?
That's good day's work.
Not a bad day's work, respectable. Our third-year sophomore.
He's going to be a starter.
Oh, absolutely.
Julian Sayin's going to be a starter next year.
Absolutely. And then we have our third-year sophomore, Lincoln Kleinholz. Went 12 for 18, did 158 passing yards and 2 touchdowns.
He's not going to be your starter.
And then he's not, unfortunately. I love the kid, but he could probably be a starter anywhere else. But and we've said this before, because Ohio State has such a competitive program, I don't think he's going to be the starter for us. And then our true freshman, Tavian St. Clair. I'm really excited for this kid. This kid is really going to be something special, I think. Went 11 for 15, 116 passing yards, did 1 touchdown, and unfortunately, because it's probably his first time playing in front of 40,000 people, 2 interceptions. So, get it out of your system now. I don't care.
He's the future of the program. They'll probably, I imagine, they're going to redshirt him this year. Stan's going to play for 2 years. Stan will be out. He'll be a redshirt sophomore by the time he gets to start, and that's kind of the pipeline. Tavian St. Clair is going to be good. He's going to be good.
He is. I'm excited for him.
I just hope he gets to be good in Columbus because, with the portal and everything, kids don't, Aaron Nolan, hey, I'm here for the competition, and he was gone. And I don't blame Aaron Nolan. But see, here's the kicker,
though, is he saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah. Once they brought Sayin in,
he is gonna hands down be a starter somewhere else, wherever he lands. No hate to him, truthfully.
If you're on the roster as a quarterback at Ohio State, you're going to start for 80% of the Division I schools. You go start, you can get the NIL money there. You can't blame these kids. It's just you have to. If you play, you have to pick your program correctly, though, because although I guess really, as a quarterback, you can get in the NFL in many different ways. You don't really have to be.
You can.
a huge program. I mean, Josh Allen played at Wyoming, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, Shedeur played at Colorado. I know they've been hyped up, but like Colorado's not what we consider a top 20 program.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, we're talking about Shuck from Louisville, and we're talking about there's just you don't have to be at a top tier program to make it in the NFL at quarterback.
No.
So
no. But it's kind of it's funny that you bring up the portal and the NIL money, because there's kind of a big story that came out this week. It not dealing with the Buckeyes, thankfully. No. Dealing with a former Buckeye opponent, Tennessee. So Tennessee and their quarterback, Nico Iamaleava, and I apologize to the internet.
No, you still nailed that. Like, seriously, you absolutely nailed it.
I don't think I did.
No, you're right on.
So Nico. Well, actually, let's refer to Nico and his father and the agent, and it's mainly the father and the agent. We're kind of having a little bit of a game of chicken with the University of Tennessee, and wanted more money. Basically, they said that the O-line was not up to the standards that Nico needed to succeed, and they need to build a program around Nico, and he needs more money in the NIL deal. And Tennessee was like, how much are we talking? We'll entertain it. They'll see. So apparently the figure that was thrown out was $4 million. $4 million in college, by the way.
What Joe Flacco is getting to start for the Browns this year.
Right. An 18-year veteran for 1 year of football is getting a college kid now is demanding. His camp is demanding. So Tennessee was kind of going back and forth, and finally came back and said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. And so that kind of turned into Nico missed the spring practice before the game, and the media news broke Friday that they are parting ways with him. He was set to enter the portal when it opened up. I believe today is when the portal opens. And there's speculation of where he's going to go. But, I mean, this actually highlights a problem that Nick Saban brought up. When the NIL was first coming out, and, Nick Saban said that this is going to become the Wild West. And it has. It absolutely has. Because at the end of the day, it still should be about these kids getting a college education. And it has definitely turned in. You've brought free agency to college football. That's what it is. Yeah. Let's call it how it is. So the story gets a little bit more interesting, because Saturday morning, University of Oregon, I'm not a fan of the guy, but I do actually respect him for this move. Coach Dan Lanning broke the news to the press that this has actually been going on for months, that Nico's father and his agent have been sniffing around for deals, have been kind of shopping, trying to see who can provide the best money. Boosters have gotten involved. Like, this could potentially be an NCAA violation. It could turn into a problem, which I believe it should be. I think he should lose a year of availability.
And by the way, you really had to have messed up to have an NCAA violation around NIL today. Like, you had to really screw up to get a violation during NIL. Like,
you do.
Because the Saban's race, the Wild Wild West. So there are very, very few rules. So if you broke one of those rules, you're dumb. Like, you are dumb.
Well, see, and here's the thing. I mean, you had actually the University of Tennessee and Coach Josh Heupel publicly stand behind him going into last season to make the plea before the NCAA to let him be eligible.
Right.
And this is how he repays them. Like, that's the thanks that he gets for them, putting their necks on the line for him. But what's really interesting, and it's really honestly refreshing to see, is now you have the ripple effect throughout the rest of the teams. You've got refresh my memory for Miami's coach.
I saw Mario Cristobal, former coach of Oregon, now at Miami. Said, he said, absolutely, we're not bringing that guy into our program. We don't want that
10 toes down.
Like, and the damage that his dad and agent, I guess, have done to this kid's reputation. Now he's toxic in Division I. I mean, he's going. Somebody's going.
No team is going to touch him.
Yeah. Well, somebody will. Somebody will.
There's whispers of where he could land up, and I would not be surprised. I mean, he went to Notre Dame to see what they would do. They're like, no, we're good now, thank you.
Yeah, Marcus Freeman ain't touching that.
No, not with 10-foot pole. He went to USC, he went to UCLA, and they're like, kick rocks, my guy, no thank you. Where I could see him potentially ending up, because it's already going to be a toxic environment as it is, I would not be surprised if we see him in Carolina blue.
I was thinking kind of along the same lines. You're thinking Belichick. I'm thinking Lane Kiffin. I can see Kiffin swooping in and taking him at Ole Miss. Like I that's a very Lane Kiffin kind of thing. He doesn't care. He don't care about that.
He doesn't care.
And
doesn't care about any of that.
But beyond this kid's college career, NFL teams are not going to want to deal with this. This isn't like a Dion thing. Like they're not. This is hurting this kid so badly. It legitimately may cost him from ever getting drafted, because talented young man. We saw that. I mean, the only reason Tennessee even had a sniff in that game was because of his play.
Yeah.
And talented young man.
We actually gave props to him after that game.
We did. We applauded his effort, because he got the crap kicked out of him and kept getting back up and kept, trying.
Said, I didn't hear no bell, and kept coming at it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And but my God, the damage that the people around him. And by the way, that's how many stories have we heard that? It's like it's like the MC hammering of college athletics. You just have the wrong people around you, and it tanks your career. And
that's what happens.
Hopefully they learn a lesson here. Hopefully, it doesn't even sound like it's him. It sounds like it's the people around him.
It's hopefully his father and his agent.
Yeah. Hopefully this kid can humble them, and just you hate to see a career like that go down because people are just trying to get every dollar they can. When he legitimately had, like, we're already talking. There was already talks about him in the NFL draft. In 2 years, like it doesn't make a lot of sense.
I mean, well, it'll be very interesting to see if he does surface in the draft in 2 years.
And NIL,
GMs are watching now.
Right. Division I NIL is big time money. We know that. But NFL money is generational changing money. So take the couple $1 million you're going to get at Tennessee, put your head down, win an SEC championship, because they would have been one of the favorites going into next year, because they're returning everybody. And so it's like it doesn't make sense. And I hope for that kid's sake, calmer heads prevail, because he's getting bad advice, and it's just a shame to see, especially the kid. I think he's still 18. He's still 18, isn't he?
I'm not sure.
I think he's still 18 years old. Like, it's just,
regardless,
18,
he's definitely still young.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy what's going on in college sports right now.
It is, but you know what? Like I said, it is so good to see that the colleges are taking a stand and they're pushing back.
Yeah.
Because if Tennessee would have caved, that would have set such a precedent.
I was listening. I think it was Ken Carman this morning was talking about that and comparing it to Myles Garrett, and said that's what you would have had in college football had Tennessee caved to this. You would have had Myles situations, holding teams. I mean, Myles got what he wanted. He got paid. He got $123 million guaranteed.
But it wasn't about the money.
He just wants to win.
Uh-huh.
So was it, by the way, was Joe Flacco the quarterback they promised him?
I don't know.
That would make Miles come back?
One more, but I have one more thing though on that note. So okay, so we've got our veteran QB.
Yep.
They have a draft plan. They know what it is. We can speculate about it all we want. Yep. They know what it is. Gentlemen in Berea. I'm gonna talk right to you. So right talk at you. First of all, how's your mom and them? Okay. Now that that's out of the way. For the love of God, okay? Your next move, sign Nicholas Jamal Chubb. I don't care what it takes. I don't care if you have to bring in Massage Watson's massage therapists and put them on retainer for him in the locker room for Chubb. Bring that man home.
Nick Chubb don't play like that.
Please and thank you.
Nick Chubb don't play like that.
No, he doesn't. He's not. I don't care. I don't care what it takes.
You're 100%
I don't care
right.
if you want a rare Batman comic, the first appearance of Batman, Detective number, I want to say it was 23. The comic nerds can come for me in the comments. That's fine. I don't care. Bring whatever it is. If you need Michael Keaton himself, I will chip in for the GoFundMe to bring Michael Keaton to Cleveland so Nicholas Jamal Chubb has Batman. I don't care. Make it happen quickly.
That is, there was. I don't care what anybody thinks about Joe Flacco, and I've heard every comment over the world. Joe Flacco is a good thing for the Cleveland Browns. He's a good thing for the fan base. He's a good thing. He's a good thing for the team. He's a good thing for the culture. He's good. There's nothing wrong with signing Joe Flacco. He's also the best quarterback on your roster now. Okay. How do we build that goodwill? You're 100% right, BB. Let's get Nick Chubb back here. And then let's go to the draft. And let's get Nick signed before the draft. Let's get the fan base hyped up. You got Miles back. You brought Flacco back. Let's get Nick back. And let's go to the draft. And let's have some hope. Let's have some hope for next season. And
I mean, you start making the Kool-Aid early. Let's go.
Yep.
Let's do it.
I think that's a great place to leave it.
I think you are correct, sir.
I just think you segued into the perfect ending of this pod.
You know what? I am getting better at these segues. I do what I can.
You are, and I'm looking at the timer. This will be our shortest pod yet.
I guess when you get me spicy and feisty about certain things on a Monday night, we go pretty quick.
So next week we will have next Sunday draft preview, right?
Yeah.
Are we potting on Easter Sunday? Are you good with that?
Ooh. To be determined.
Okay, we'll talk off pod. But
we'll figure that out. But we will come at you next week. Don't worry. We will have our draft preview because we are 10 days away, ladies and gentlemen. 10 days.
Get it all in the screen here.
There we go. So
like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. With that all being said, from the dog pound of the shoe and all of the props in between, I'm BB.
NBC.
This has been the I-71 Playbook Podcast.
Later.